The young novice monk, seeking a moment of excitement, ran to the edge of a cliff to chant scriptures, but an unexpected gentle breeze suddenly blew the scripture out of his hands and left it hanging on a tree branch by the cliff, causing the little monk's vision to go dark at once because he had not yet completed his daily practice. And with no other choice, he risked climbing the tall tree and stretched out his hand to retrieve the page. Yet he was too small to reach it no matter what he tried. And in a moment of carelessness his foot slipped and he fell into the bottomless abyss below. At the same time, the old monk in the temple suddenly felt a sharp pain in his heart and the prayer beads in his hand scattered across the ground, making him realize that something terrible might have happened to his disciple. So he rushed out of the temple calling out while searching for the young monk. But no one answered, until he reached the cliff and saw the clothes left behind and the scripture still hanging high on the branch. And grief immediately surged from his heart as he bent down to look into the abyss, where only a pair of wooden clogs drifted with the waves on the sea below. And he knew at once that his young disciple had met with disaster. Sorrow and anguish overwhelming him, when night finally fell, he staggered back to the temple and carefully sorted through his disciples' belongings, tears falling uncontrollably, for in the past he would still hear the novice's innocent and naive voice at this hour. Yet now the entire room was left with only his lonely and helpless figure, his sobbing breaking the silence of the temple. The next day, the old monk set up a symbolic grave beside the temple and planted a sapling in front of it to shelter the young monk from wind and rain, watering it while chanting scriptures and hoping that the child could live free of worry in the pure land of bliss. And his sincere devotion seemed to move the heavens as the sapling began to grow at a speed visible to the naked eye. While the old monk chanted day and night without rest for 3 days and 3 nights until the sapling had grown into a towering, lush tree. As spring passed and autumn arrived and winter drew near, snow covered the mountains, yet the great tree still stood tall before the grave, until one dark and stormy night when a fierce gale suddenly struck and blew the tree down. And like the young monk himself, it perished before it could fully grow. Never seeing the sun of the next day, the old monk seemed to sense this in his heart, and he cut down the thickest section of the trunk, carefully peeled away the bark, and devoted himself entirely to carving it, each stroke filled with his longing for the young monk as scenes from the past replayed before his eyes like a slideshow. And after a full day and night a delicate wooden fish was finally completed, which the old monk held gently in his hands as if he were seeing his former disciple again. And from then on he struck the wooden fish every day while chanting scriptures, carrying the unfinished practice of the young monk with him in his own cultivation. As time flowed away quietly like water through a bamboo stream, yet the old monk's longing never ceased.